to the school and get back home. So I come around about 5:30.
So Keon's pretty much hung out all day at the house with him.
I FaceTime just in the day. All day like I normally do. Because I have to talk.
Went to the store recently for any of that stuff, or is that stuff you had in the cabinet?
Because I went to the store maybe a week ago and I got everything he needed for the weekend. His daycare lady, her nephew has the same kind of gluten treatment, so I trusted her with him. She knows how to give him his treatments if something's wrong. It's just gonna wear home.
But it was kind of sudden because he hadn't had that treatment issue for a while. Yeah, that morning when you left, he was not having any trouble at all. But he was sick as son.
He doesn't even like to lay on his stomach, but he was laying on his stomach.
Has he ever had bad habit of getting anything or missing anything in the house, like under the cabinets or anything around that he could have?
No, I never.
Y'all use any poison or anything like that?
No.
No blood issues or anything?
I'll usually spray around the doors. During the summertime and stuff, during the winter time, I don't even try to do it because bugs aren't even out. So, yeah, pest control provides so, but I do still, I'm very cautious, like go around the door edges.
Does pest control been by?
I don't know their schedule. They come once. They just, do it on their own. They usually cook and, spray. And they'll leave the car to let me know they've been there.
Can you remember last time? But you say every month?
I don't think it's every month. They're on a schedule, and I know it's on Fridays for sure. It's the only days that they come by. Because if I ever see any bugs that I have to call and get them to come out and do something, they always be on a Friday when they can come.
Now I know I probably already asked you, but the stomach issues like that, or at least to that severity, has that ever happened like that before?
No. Start growing up, of course, they hurt, but he really just started talking, so this is the first time that he could tell me when his stomach hurts, but he still just point. But I knew it was because he growing up and he just, knew where it was coming from. But he always pointed to it. So I didn't think it wasn't alarming. That's what he said. Oh, what's your word? Show me no sign of anything.
So how, and just, I'm sorry, how often when's the last time you was a kid?
It's been a while since he's been down because I'm in school. So I asked him for a couple of weeks just to not come so I can finish the project. So last time he's been here, he didn't even cut them on weekend. But he normally keeps both of them because they're always there together.
So Monday you said going to work. So who kept, and Monday was your day?
No, Monday, he was with him.
So was with Keon all day Monday?
Yes.
At your house? Did they go anywhere?
No, I don't allow that.
Do you know, if Keon fed anything that day, or did you put out food?
I know I told him that if he, cause I cooked Sunday, that I said if he's hungry, you give him food that fixed last night. Give him a little bit because Carter doesn't really like meat, so I told him to mix it. Then hide the meat in the rice, and he did give him some that day.
Give her some of the,
Yeah, some of the, meat and rice that I cooked on Sunday.
Did Keon report any kind of car acting weird at all Monday?
So it was Keon and stuff, we're in the process of high training, and I put the underwear on Carter, he knows not to pee on himself, so I said, put the underwear on him because he's probably peeing on himself because of the pull-up. He put the pull-up, he took the pull-up off, put the underwear on, and he went to sleep, and he said he still peed on himself. I said, that's weird, because Carter knows better. But I just didn't think, and he just kept peeing on himself.
that was in the day Monday?
And again, was probably trying to do something.
Right.
But I know he knows that he has enough underwear that he goes to the potty.
So, what, did you leave, what time did you leave for work?
Same time, 7:15.
What time did you arrive home?
I usually get off at 4:30 because on Mondays and Wednesdays, and Fridays, I work in Water Rockets first, and then I head to Jones County. And I leave Jones County around 4:15, so that I can get back to where I was and drop off the car to the school and get back home, so I'm home around about 5:30.
So Keon's pretty much hung out all day at the house with him.
And I FaceTime just in the day, all day, like I normally do. If I have to talk to her all day. He was fine, he was talking, hi mommy. Did you eat? No. Nothing's wrong.
What was it, how much compliance did he have with his son?
To me, just when I woke him up. And then that was just the one time that day, he didn't say anything else that day about his stomach hurt. He said it that one time,
Nothing Monday during the day except for when you woke him up.
just when I woke him up, his stomach.
That was up to 2.
No, that was Monday, because he was throwing up all day Monday. And then Tuesday morning, when I went in the room and I moved him, that's when he said it again. He said, "Mommy, stomach hurt me." He had said it twice.
Do you remember, when was the first time you were about that?
I wasn't there. And that was when I'm thinking, because when I was at the floor, Keon had thought that he had just spilled his juice. His car had to take his top off his juice and throw it everywhere. And I got in the house and I said, no, I said, that's all, because I could see the spit things in the floor. And I tried to clean my carpet with the carpet cleaner. When I walked in the house, he was laying on the couch, and he was sleeping, and he had woke up when I walked in, and there was throws all over him. And that's when I went, gave him a bath, because he was nasty. I gave him a bath, and it had to have just happened because the girl was fresh. I went and I gave him a bath, and then I put on his clothes, and I went in the kitchen and started dinner, and he was right there on my my shoulder, and then all of a sudden he just started vomiting again, just more and more vomiting in the kitchen. So I cleaned him up, I took the shirt off. He had vomited more that night until in the middle of the night when I went in and checked him, he had threw up in his bed. That's when I said, that's odd, because he never throws up in his sleep. He'll throw up in the day, and I didn't give him any more juice or anything.
And what was the juice?
It was Hawaiian punch. It was the mango something. It was orange.
Was Keon's daughter there?
That's wrong with you with me, but she's looking for her mom this week because he has full custody of her. She was supposed to go with her mom, so he left her in Atlanta. Her mom didn't come, we were supposed to go back and get her on Wednesday. So she's praying that she wasn't here because he would have never made it to the doctor.
That's why I'm sure about this way. So when you got home Monday, he had already thrown up, he was laying on the couch.
He had thrown up while he was laying on the couch, but like I said, he looked like he was waking up from a nap because when I walk in the door, my door chime goes off and he knows I'm coming home. And as soon as he sat up, he did like this. He said, "Mommy," gave me a big hug. Nothing was wrong. I had ordered him, so I didn't give him a bath, and he was, "Mommy, I'm nasty." I said, "No, baby." He took a bowl bath, played with his toys. I took him out. We went in the kitchen, so I could start dinner because he liked to cook with me. And he started throwing up in the kitchen. And I was like, "Okay, baby, go lay down. And then that night he ate dinner. And that's what I'm saying, he was fine that night that he threw up. He was in his room, I put him in his high chair and we watched Cars. And I fed him and we were singing, and nothing was wrong.
The breathing issues at all?
He was smiling, laughing, singing, talking. So I thought he was feeling better. Until the morning to the middle of the night, and he threw up, and I was like, "Okay, when he's not feeling better." So I picked him up, put him on my bed, and he had my both hurting him. And that should have alarmed me, but I just thought maybe his stomach really hurts. So we lay down and I kissed him, and we had this thing where we kissed each other, but we sucked on each other's face. So the moment, so I did that, and he laughed. I went back to sleep. Woke up out. Immediately got up and checked out.
And what time was that before you started about?
I normally get up, my alarm was off at 6. I had to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning because I know when I went to lay back down, I only got about 2 more hours of sleep before it was time for me to get up and get ready for work. He was kind of laying on the bed, and I pushed him back over like I normally do. He just moaned, his stomach hurt. I said, "Okay, baby, lay down and you're gonna go lay with Keon." Because I asked because I was leaving, I had to get ready, and so I was just gonna put him in the room with Keon. And when I was getting dressed, Keon went and got him. And they were laying in bed together. He was laying on his stomach.
You know, wide awake, just trying to sleep.
They're both wide awake. He got a towel and laid on his stomach so that if he threw up again, he wouldn't get himself dirty or bed or whatever. And he was just laying there. I walked over before I left. I gave him both a kiss, Carter, I put my hand on his back because he was laying on Kim's chest, and I felt him. He was breathing fine. Gave him a kiss. He said, "Bye, mommy." And I walked out.
You said you moved from his bed to the other bed. Did he throw up in that other bed at all?
No, not the bigger bed, but he threw it out.
And do you know in his bed what part of his bed he had thrown up in, or where the throw was?
The little bit that he was laying on, there was a big, circle of just throw juice. His bed is not that big, so it kind of took up the entire middle part of the bed, which is why I moved it, because it was too much to even try to clean that night or do anything with it, so I just put him in another bed.
Did you sleep at all?
He slept good.
You slept good?
He didn't wake up in the middle of the night. He didn't whine. And he's a crybaby, so normally he still, we're still sleep training and trying to get him used to sleeping in his own bed without me, because he normally would sleep with me on weekends. So whenever he wanted to come down, I try to get him to sleep in his own room. And he always, if he wanted me, he'd stand at my door and knock on my door, but lately he's just been getting better at it. So he slept the whole night, didn't whine, only whined when I touched him. Which is when I touched him, but it was just strange, because when he was laying down with me, he wasn't complaining about anything. He didn't say he hurt me. He was fine.
So that morning when you got up to start getting ready to work, did he complain?
Yes. One time, I said, "Okay, baby, just lay down. Do you want to go live with Kiana?" Mm-hmm.
How long does he normally stay on this when he does the breathing treatments? How long does he normally stay on it?
One of them it takes about 15 minutes to finish. The other one's a little bit longer. But he finishes all of it. He does even, so I can do the breathing treatment because he's used to that one. They give it to him at the doctor's office and at the hospitals whenever he goes, so he's just used to sitting on that one.
Are you were on the phone with him the entire time he was on the breathing machine?
Yeah, he wasn't on it long. He was not on it long. Cause I gave him, just move like, no.
You said the other one takes longer. What was
He's on budesonide, and then he's on albuterol. The albuterol is the one that takes a little bit longer. It's the bigger one. I think the budesonide takes about 10 minutes, and maybe the albuterol takes 15. But I do know that when he had the reactions to the viruses, the only thing that will really keep him from having to go to the doctor is if I catch it early, I start giving him the allergy medicine, which is why they prescribed it to him with refills, because it just was the only thing that would help prevent his airways from reacting.
what medicine do you give him for that?
Let's see if he gets that.
you remember the last time you went to his dad's house?
It was recent, the weekend of November the 7th. Yeah, that weekend. Yeah, November the Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, Monday.
You contact Dad about it, and see.
I did, I called him Monday night, and I asked him if he could take off work, because I didn't want him to be at the house, without one of us. Because we know his, condition, and I would just feel better if his dad would have it, because he works with the EMT and he's a firefighter, so I just would have felt better if he said that he couldn't take off, because he had to work. So, and I couldn't take off from work.
Sure. Ladies, I do appreciate you talking with us this morning. So, sorry about you having good news. I gave you my call yesterday. Okay. You contact me if there's anything at all. Just call. Okay. Sure we'll talk in the end. Mr. Dickens, please.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you have watched two videos. I would just remind you that it's only a portion of all of the evidence that was presented to you. And if you consider your deliberation, you should not emphasize one piece of evidence or the other simply because you've seen these two particular videos twice, okay? Keep all the evidence that you've seen in mind, and you may return to the jury room. Anything before we recess?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll stand in recess till we hear from them.
All right.
Y'all get seated. All right, we have another, question from the jury. It is two parts. Can we take a break? Hang on a second, we're having court reporter difficulties, so we'll make sure the record's clear. We have questions from the jurors. Can we take a break? Of course. And then there's a second question, have a juror with a medical issue, how do we proceed? I am inclined to, inquire whether they believe further deliberations will be fruitful before we try to figure out what to do about the other stuff. Do you both agree?
That's fine, Judge.
Okay. Mr.
I agree with that.
Okay. Okay, it says you can take a break, but before you do you believe your continued deliberations are likely to result in a unanimous verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We're hitting the light when we get an answer, Judge.
All right, let them take a break, please. Tell them, 15 minutes. And, hold on a second. They wanna, there's a juror with a medical issue, that I need to address. So I'm gonna ask them to stay back in the jury room for a second, the rest of them to take a break.
You want them all to stay back there?
No, I want you to take them that note.
Right.
The juror with the medical issue needs to wait in the
Jury.
jury room, the rest of them can go. That note tells them that.
Did they respond to your question?
Yes, I'm sorry. They said that, possibly on count 7, not on arrest, but I should have read it out loud. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the medical issue. I want to make sure that's not emergent. Did not think that it was, but they're real Mr. Bob, bring that last note back to me, please.
I'm sorry, I'll get it back.
You could do a next break, and so I need that note and note what the medical issue is.
Is yours still back there? You want me to send her out?
All right, so council, I'm sorry for not, this is the last note that I did not read. Number one, yes, we do need a break. Two, it is possible to get on count 7, nothing else. The rest, no. We will need to address medical issue with one juror. Need a break first. Exclamation point. Okay.
Here's
You know
the
what
other
number
one.
we're on?
The ladies
Yeah, okay. Is it 10, 10 and 11? Okay. I'm gonna ask the juror with the medical issue to write that down for me so that they candidly have nothing to do with which juror it is. And so we'll just do that. And
Let me find her.
while she's doing that,
Oh, good idea.
and I've just written, please share your medical issue. I don't want to bring you out unless necessary. Give that to her. Council, while we're waiting on that, what do we think on the deliberations?
As it relates to what?
Do you want them to continue? Are you asking me to declare a mistrial? So they told us they were deadlocked fairly quickly this morning. They were out a couple more hours. They watched 2 additional pieces of evidence. They were out another 30, 45 minutes after the second piece of evidence. The 4-person indicates the only movement is on 1 of the 7 counts. And again, that he characterized as possible, not on the other counts. Mr. Groove?
Judge, our position is we would ask the court to grant a mistrial in this case.
All right, Mr. Dwayne?
Well, we had an indication from regardless of what's happened in the past, now they're saying we might be able to reach an agreement at least at 1 count. But we also are waiting the note back from the ill juror, because if the ill juror has to be removed from illness, then we're starting back over again.
I mean, that would be, our position would be, of course, if you don't please, if one juror is to be removed, then they have to start completely over as to all counts.
Right. And then the question is, well, and I guess it depends on, this is a 7-count indictment. And my recollection is at least 6 of the counts were almost evenly split at the last discussion, including, give me that note back, please. And count 7 last time was an 11-1 count. So you're still, when we talk about are we making progress, that is where we are on that last count. I think it's necessary to hear from the other juror before we make a decision. Probably. Mr. Dwayne, is there something else you want to add on record?
I am interested in what the response is from the juror.
Will you please step in there and ask her to just say the judge wants to know if you are able to continue? Well, never mind. So if y'all step up, I don't see any need for this to be. All right, based on the information shared by this juror with regard to their medical issue, it is not something that the court finds at this point or that the juror is requesting would require substitution. They just needed a break. I think it was more to emphasize their need for a break than that there was a separate issue, which I didn't understand clearly. So, the defense has made a motion for mistrial. Mr. Dwayne, I'll hear any comments you have.
At this point, Your Honor, if based on what they're telling us is accurate as to count 7 and the other counts, I don't see us going really anywhere meaningful at this point. So I think at this point, the court probably should grant this trial.
All right, I think it is proper to do it with the jury present and for me to inquire on the record whether they're able to reach verdict or not. Information, that's probably where we're at. But we'll let them finish their break, and we will wait and inquire at that point and go from there. All right?
Thank you.
So y'all just kind of hang out in here a few minutes while they're up in a break, and then we'll go. All right. we'll stand in recess till, let's say like, I told them to try to keep it to 10 or 15 minutes, so hopefully 5 or 10 minutes, because we've been talking.
All right.
All right, this is my proposed note. Do you believe further deliberations are likely to result in a unanimous verdict on all counts, some, or one count? Can you share the current count without telling me which way, just numbers? And I'll put as to each offense, so that we have some idea of what we're dealing with. Because obviously, we want a verdict if we can get one, but, they have now essentially been out a significant time considering the time it took to present the evidence. And so, before we ask them to come back on Monday, I need to make sure that we have done everything. Or before we send them home without a verdict, I need to make sure. So we want to make sure we're doing all the things.
And once again, we would stand by our motion.
All right.
Doing an account.
That's fine. right, and the answer to my first question, the answer is no. Do you believe further deliberation? So like, then I asked for the current count. I think what they've done is give me the count on, well, I don't know what they've done. They've given me numbers, that don't add up to 12 on two of the counts. So I'm gonna inquire further. So I just, said on these counts, do you have a verdict or what is the math?
I think this is one of the numbers that you just get back. He's responding.
Okay. No, I've not seen this. Okay, they have seen this note that the bailiff just handed me, says jurors have stated, so based on that, I'm gonna declare a mistrial, and excuse this jury. If you will get the alternates and let me bring them in and just give them some final instructions, and we'll release them. I don't even know what this is. 13.
I don't think they wrote it.
Hang on to the alternates for me, okay? Okay. ladies and gentlemen, as we've discussed, a verdict in a criminal case needs to be unanimous. As you are unable to reach one, I'm going to declare a mistrial in this case, and this will complete your service for the week. You can leave your buttons behind, leave your notepads in your chairs, you just tear those up and shred them. Nobody's going to read your notes or what have you. The clerk will have a check for you that will have a stub that will prove you were here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for your employer. If you need something additional, you can contact the clerk's office or my office and we'll let you do that. I told you about 50 times not to talk about the case or let anybody talk about it with you. At this point, you may talk about the case if you wish. You're not required to, but often the attorneys may want to know what you found persuasive or didn't find persuasive or what have you. So I always let you know that it is not improper anymore for you to talk to whoever you want to about this case and your service on it. You are, of course, in no way required to do so. Make sure you get all your personal items, leave me my buttons so I can recycle them for the next group. And Mr. Davis will show you out, Mr. Bob will show you out the back door, okay? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Just leave him in the seat.
Yeah, that's fine, we'll pick it up.
You find one I can do it.
All right, did we set a date in the other one?
November sometime.
So that's gonna be my first available for a retrial. The state will need to decide whether you want to retry this one on those dates or, try the charge co-defendant, if you're going to retry the matter. Just be thinking about that so we can get scheduled. This is the oldest case on my docket, so I'm gonna be pushing to get it retried again, okay?
Will you issue an
All right.
order on the mistrial? Will you issue an order on the
I
mistrial?
will, I'll do that before I leave. All right, we'll stand in recess. Okay, and y'all, Miss Montgomery's deserting me, so if you need a transcript, tell her now.
All right.
Take 2 minutes.
Hang on to it.